It says a hovercraft takes off from a platform. It says its height in meters x seconds after takeoff is modeled by our following equation. Now, as we have learned in the past, guys, we can actually graph the equation here on Desmos. So that's actually what I did. I do have a graph in this case. I took a screenshot of that graph. I did get, in this case, the important features, which is the y-intercept, the vertex, and the x-intercept. So once again, even if I were to just be graphing the equation, I could, once again, graph this on Desmos, create an equation, and create a table, sorry. So let me actually walk you guys through that, just in case, you know, it's not fresh in our memory in this case, guys. So let's go ahead and actually type that equation in. I have a negative 2x squared plus a 20x plus 48. Notice in this case, we do have our parabola here. I hope we are matching. Yes, we are matching some of our main points. Now, let's say in this case, if you're graphing it, because the software Khan Academy we use in this case doesn't really take bigger numbers, I am going to go ahead and create a table. Notice in this case, I did click on those arrows. So it propped out this tab. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on that setting tool. That setting tool, you guys see that just highlighted and then, you know, became bolded. Let's go ahead and click that. And then you're going to go ahead and click on the first icon, which is a table. And it's actually giving you a set of values. So if I were to actually be graphing this or need to graph the equation, I could graph it by hand, creating the table. Or I could actually just graph it on Desmos, create a table, and then be able to graph it from there. So once again, guys, if you want to go ahead and graph, you know, equations standard form by hand, you're more than welcome to, or we could actually just graph it on Desmos. So that's just a little refresher for you guys to graph things or equations on Desmos. Now, from there in this case, I actually want to go ahead and take a look back at the prompt here. Now, in this case, they're giving us 2 units of measure. It says we have height in meters, and we also have x seconds. Now, I did mention, let's go ahead and label our variables. I want to go ahead and identify what x represents and what y represents. Now, this is important because in the word problems, they are going to be asking you for key features. The key features that we're going to go ahead and be looking at is either going to be the y-intercept, the x-coordinate, the y-coordinate, and I'll just review that, or the x-intercept. Now, in this case, guys, there are some keywords that do help you identify which one's which. First of all, the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate are found in the same point, which is the vertex. So if you hear, or not hear, but if you read that it mentions any keywords as a maximum, a minimum, the highest, or lowest in this case, it's actually talking about the vertex, and we could actually probably eliminate these and then just focus on those two. But I do need to identify what x and y is to see which ones I could eliminate from this section and then see what I'm looking for. So x in this case, guys, x is, they're actually telling us x represents seconds. X in this case is seconds. That makes in this case y to be the height in meters. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at our questions here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the questions. Now, we could actually find our answers in the graph, but let's go ahead and take a look at this first question. First question in this case, guys, it says, how long will it take the object to hit the ground? A few keywords I want to go ahead and highlight. It says how long. It also mentions hit the ground, right? Now, how long in this case, it's either going to be referring to seconds or it's going to be referring to height. This actually does refer to x, which is seconds. Now, it says, how long will it take the object to hit the ground? We want to go ahead and see how long it takes for the object to reach the ground. Now, if I take a look at the graph in this case, we actually do have our starting point at the y-axis. From there, we reach our maximum, and then we come to the ground. So the ground is actually represented by this point on the bottom. That point in this case is known as the x-intercept. So my answer in this case would be the value of the x-intercept. Notice in this case, guys, because it's talking about seconds, I would have actually eliminated these two. And since it's focused on the ground, not the maximum, it would be the x-intercept, all right? So that's a little process of elimination there. And that was actually 12 seconds. Our answer there is 12 seconds. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. It says, what is the height of the object at the time it was launched? So what is the height of the object at the time of launch? So at the time of launch. First of all, they're looking for a height. We know height in this case we mentioned is y. So if I go back here, I know I'm actually going to be eliminating this one and that one there. Now, because it does say at the time of launch, it means in this case the object hasn't moved. It's still at its starting position. And if we take a look at the starting position, it's actually here, which represents our y-intercept. So our answer in this case is going to be the y-intercept, and that is going to be 48 meters. 48 meters, and that's actually what it shows on the y-intercept here. Another thing, guys, if you guys notice on this question, it's not mentioned anything about a maximum, a minimum, a highest or lowest. So I know that in this case, the y-coordinate would be out because it's not a point in the vertex. So that's something else for you guys to do. Now, let's go ahead and take a look in this case on the second example. And on the second example, in this case, guys, I'm not actually looking for an exact value. I'm actually looking for what they're asking for. So in this case, it says a certain company's main source of income is selling cloth bracelets in this case. The company's annual profit in thousands of dollars as a function of the price of a bracelet in dollars is modeled by our following equation. Once again, if you want to go ahead and find the exact value, go ahead and graph this equation. I'm not going to graph it because I'm focused on identifying if we're looking for a y-intercept, an x-coordinate, a y-coordinate, or an x-intercept. So that's what I'm focused on. That is what I'm focused on. So let's go ahead and actually highlight our units. It says a company's annual profit in thousands of dollars. That's one of them. Second one in this case is the price of the bracelet in dollars. Now, when we're working with word problems, they're either going to be giving you one of the variables. In this case, they're not. So how do we identify? A few things. Y in this case, guys, is always going to be the bigger amount of the two units. A bigger amount in this case, if I compare thousands of dollars over just dollars, thousands of dollars is a bigger amount. So I'm assuming in this case, Y is going to be thousands, right? Another thing in this case, guys, if you guys see the phrase as a function of, this actually gives it away. Anything that comes before is going to be Y, and anything that comes after is X. So once again, guys, Y is going to be the profit or the annual profit in thousands of dollars, and then X is going to be the bracelet price. So that's settled. Let's go ahead and write X equals price of bracelet in dollars, and in this case the Y is annual profit in thousands of dollars. All right. So question in this case, guys, it says, what is the maximum profit the company is going to earn? So I am going to be highlighting maximum profit, right? And the company can earn. Now, because it is talking about the maximum, I know the maximum refers more specifically to the vertex, which means I can actually cancel this one out and that one out there, because the only points that are found in the vertex are these two. Now it says, what's the maximum profit? Profit in this case, we actually saw that that's representing Y. So our answer in this case should be the Y coordinate. In this case, my answer here is going to be the Y coordinate. if you want to go ahead and find that exact value, go ahead and graph it. But in this case, I am actually very satisfied with you identifying that this is the y-coordinate of the vertex. Okay, so that would be example number 2. Now, in this case, the last step is for you to complete this practice problem. Once again, you want to go ahead and identify whether it's going to be a y-intercept, an x-coordinate, a y-coordinate, or an x-intercept. If you want to find the exact value, go ahead. But I'm just looking for which of these